problem is simple but deadly. Most people live in illusions. They believe others act with kindness, honesty, or loyalty. But Machiavelli warns, this belief will destroy you. The world is not ruled by good intentions. It is ruled by appearances, manipulation, and ruthless calculation. If you do not learn this, you will always be controlled by those who do. Here are truths that should never be spoken aloud. Secrets whispered only in the shadows, because if the masses knew them, society would crumble. But today, I will reveal to you one of Machiavelli's warnings. A dangerous truth about human nature, power, and survival. A truth that rulers keep hidden. A truth that could change the way you see every relationship, every friend, and every enemy. Machiavelli reminds us that power is sustained not by truth, but by illusion. And here lies the danger. Once this truth is spoken aloud, once it is revealed to those who should remain ignorant, the balance of society begins to crack. Because most men are not prepared for this knowledge. They crave comfort, not reality. They cling to the sweetness of lies rather than face the bitterness of truth. That is why rulers, kings, and even the clever merchant must guard such knowledge carefully. For if the veil is torn away, the masses might awaken, and awakenings often turn into rebellions. Understand this: the world you see is not the world that exists. It is a stage. Behind the curtain, behind the fine garments, behind the polite words of nobles and politicians, there is only calculation, strategy, deception. But this is not taught to you. Instead, from childhood you are fed tales of fairness, of goodness, of justice. You are told to believe in virtue because virtue makes you obedient. Virtue makes you manageable. It convinces you to remain in line, to sacrifice, to work, while others, those who understand the mechanics of power, quietly take everything you produce. That is why this truth should never be taught. Because once you know it, you will begin to see every sermon, every law, every oath for what it truly is: a mask. And once you see the mask, you will begin to ask, what hides beneath it? Consider this: why do rulers make promises of peace, yet prepare endlessly for war? Why do leaders speak of honor, yet lie without hesitation? Why do the wealthy preach humility, yet indulge in luxuries beyond your imagination? It is because they know what you are only beginning to understand, that power is not sustained by truth. Truth is fragile. Truth is dangerous. Truth cannot be trusted. What can be trusted, what endures, is illusion, appearances, stories told with enough conviction that the majority believe them. And if the majority believes, then belief becomes reality. But here is the most unsettling part. You, like all men, are not immune to this deception. Even as you listen now, you might think yourself wiser than the average man. You might tell yourself, I am not fooled. I see through appearances. And yet, step back, examine your life. How many times have you trusted the mask of a friend, only to be betrayed? How many times have you believed in the virtue of a leader, only to discover corruption beneath? How many times have you been seduced by words, by promises, by performances that left you weaker, poorer, or defeated? This is the trap Machiavelli warns against. To believe in truth, when the game is played with illusions, is to enter the battlefield already wounded. Now ask yourself, why should such knowledge remain hidden? Because if all men knew this, if every peasant, every servant, every follower understood that the nobleman's virtue was nothing but theater, society itself would collapse. People would no longer obey. They would no longer sacrifice for kings or priests. They would no longer fight wars for ideals. And if no one obeyed, if no one sacrificed, then the entire structure of power would disintegrate. That is why rulers must keep the curtain drawn. That is why this lesson should not be taught. Because truth is a weapon too sharp to place in every hand. It destroys not only illusions, but the order that illusions maintain. But here you are, listening to words that were meant to remain in shadows, and you must decide what to do with them. Do you turn away, seeking again the comfort of illusion, or do you stare deeper, until the illusions around you crumble and you see the world for what it truly is. A theater of masks, of games, of endless manipulation. For once you have seen it, there is no return. The curtain has been pulled back, and you are left standing in the cold light of reality, where only those willing to accept the ugliness of truth can endure. You think reality matters. It does not. Machiavelli warns us that men are not guided by truth but by perception, and perception is a far more powerful master. The world belongs not to those who are just, but to those who appear just. Not to those who are honest, but to those who appear honest. What people see with their eyes will always outweigh what truly is. This is the cruel paradox of power. Reality can be ugly, but appearances can sanctify it, protect it, and transform it into something the masses willingly embrace. Imagine a ruler who is ruthless, cold, and calculating. Yet he clothes himself in the garments of mercy. He punishes without hesitation, but he smiles as if his hand was forced. He lies, but his lies are painted in colors of righteousness. The people do not see his cruelty. They see his mask. They see his play. And because they see it, they believe it. Their belief makes it real, at least in their minds, and what is believed by many becomes stronger than what is true. Do not think this is only the way of princes and kings. Look around you. In every corner of life, in every friendship, in every negotiation, the same law is at work. Appearances are stronger than reality. A man who appears confident is often trusted, even if he is full of fear. A woman who appears loyal is often given power, even if betrayal lives in her heart. A leader who appears righteous is followed into war, even if the war is fought for greed. The truth is irrelevant. It hides in shadows. But appearance walks proudly in daylight and commands allegiance. Consider how fragile reality truly is. A leader may win battles, but if he appears weak, his victories are forgotten. A merchant may be honest, but if he appears untrustworthy, he will lose his customers. A friend may love you, but if he appears suspicious, doubt will corrode your trust. Men do not act upon truth. They act upon what they think is true. And what they think is true is dictated not by reality, but by appearances carefully constructed. This is why rulers, the clever ones, devote themselves not to truth but to spectacle. They understand that to govern men, one must govern their imagination. To appear merciful while being ruthless, to appear pious while breaking sacred oaths, to appear strong even when weak. These illusions maintain power. Men do not gather around truth. They gather around symbols. They worship appearances because appearances are visible, while truth demands effort, thought, and courage, qualities the majority do not possess. Think of history's most powerful figures. Were they all virtuous? No. Many were cruel, treacherous, corrupt, but they knew how to appear otherwise. They mastered the art of presenting an image the world could accept, even admire. Their enemies may have seen the truth, but the masses never did. And in the end, the masses outnumber the enemies. This is Machiavelli's warning. If you wish to hold power, do not waste your time chasing truth. Shape appearances instead. For in the eyes of the people, perception is reality, and reality without perception is powerless. And what of those who believe they can rely on truth alone? They fall. They always fall. The honest man who refuses to disguise his weaknesses will be devoured by wolves. The ruler who shows his cruelty without disguise will be hated and overthrown. The one who insists that truth must prevail over illusion will be silenced by those who understand that men do not want truth. They want comfort. They want stories. They want to be deceived so long as the deception flatters their hopes. And so the deceiver rises while the truth teller is buried. When you walk into a room, when you speak, when you lead, remember this: the world is not asking whether you are truly strong. The world is asking, do you appear strong? It does not care whether you are wise. It only asks, do you appear wise? It does not matter whether you are good. It only matters, do you appear good? Men judge with their eyes more than with their minds. And the eye, unlike the mind, is easily deceived. That is why the art of appearances will always be the foundation of power. Machiavelli tells us a bitter truth: mercy and morality are not virtues, they are weapons. And not weapons in your hand, but weapons in the hands of those who seek to control you. Since childhood, you have been taught that mercy is noble, that fairness is sacred, that goodness will always triumph in the end. But why are you taught this? Who benefits from such beliefs? Do you? Or do those above you, the rulers, the priests, the powerful, gain from convincing you that your obedience is moral and your suffering is righteous? These ideas, painted in gold, are cages. They bind you with invisible chains. Imagine a ruler who truly acted with mercy, who forgave every enemy, who spared every traitor, who ruled only with kindness. What would become of him? His court would devour him. His enemies would regroup. His allies would betray him the moment it suited them. Mercy, without calculation, is not virtue, it is weakness. And the weak, in the ruthless game of power, do not survive. The cruel truth is this: mercy must be used only when it strengthens your position. Kindness must be shown only when it serves a purpose. Morality must be bent, shaped, and wielded as a tool, not worshipped as a master. But the masses cannot know this. They must be told the opposite. They must be taught that goodness is its own reward, that honesty always wins, that patience is a virtue. Why? Because people who believe in these illusions are easier to govern. They will accept suffering as long as they believe it is noble. They will forgive exploitation as long as it is wrapped in the language of morality. They will remain obedient because they think disobedience is sin. This is why Machiavelli calls mercy and morality traps. They are nets cast over the unsuspecting, designed to hold them in place while others rise above them. Look at history with clear eyes. How many kings preached justice, yet ruled with iron fists? How many conquerors spoke of God, of virtue, of destiny, while burning cities and enslaving nations? How many politicians smile and speak of fairness, yet pass laws that serve only themselves and their allies? The trick has never changed. Those who rule must appear moral, must appear merciful, because the people hunger for this illusion. But behind the mask, necessity rules. And necessity does not care about virtue. It only cares about survival. And what of the man who clings to morality without strategy? He is eaten alive, he becomes prey. Consider the loyal servant who refuses to deceive, who gives his master every truth without filter. Will he be rewarded? No, he will be discarded the moment his honesty becomes inconvenient. Consider the noble knight who spares his enemy out of honor. Will his enemy return mercy? No, he will return with a blade. Consider the merchant who refuses to lie because he believes honesty is sacred. Will his competitors respect him? No. They will strangle his trade and steal his customers. Morality without calculation is suicide, but Machiavelli does not tell us to abandon morality altogether. No, he tells us to use it, to wield it like a mask, a shield, a dagger. You must learn to speak the language of morality, even as you act with strategy. You must show mercy, but only when mercy strengthens your power. You must speak of fairness, but only when fairness secures loyalty. You must display virtue, but only when virtue deceives others into lowering their guard. The wise ruler, the cunning man, the strategist, they all know this secret. Appear merciful, but be ruthless when necessity demands it. Appear moral, but bend morality when survival requires it. Appear fair, but tilt the scales in your favor when no one is watching. This is the great trap: to believe morality as absolute, while others use it as a tool. The masses walk willingly into this snare. They believe mercy is universal, so they offer it blindly. They believe morality is eternal, so they cling to it even as it poisons them. They believe fairness is natural, so they wait for it even as injustice consumes them. And while they wait, while they cling, while they hope, the ruthless advance, cloaked in the very virtues the masses worship. Machiavelli warns us of a grave mistake, one that has destroyed kings, toppled generals, and left ordinary men stripped of every defense, the mistake of revealing too much. To show your heart openly, to reveal your thoughts, to let the world know your true desires. This is to hand your enemies the map to your destruction. For once they know who you are, once they can predict you, once they understand your fears and your hopes, they will use them against you. A man without secrets is a man without armor. Consider this carefully. The world urges you to be yourself, to speak your truth, to show your real face. But why do they tell you this? Because a man who reveals himself completely is easier to control. He is predictable. He cannot surprise. He cannot threaten. If I know what you value most, I know how to manipulate you. If I know what you fear, I know how to corner you. If I know your ambition, I know how to bait you. This is why Machiavelli insists, never reveal your entire self. You must live behind a mask, and the mask must be crafted with precision. Look at the rulers of history. The great ones never revealed their true hand. Caesar did not show his ambition until Rome was already in his grasp. Napoleon cloaked his desires in the language of duty and loyalty until he crowned himself emperor. Even the popes, those supposed holy men, concealed their politics behind piety while moving armies like pawns. What destroyed those who fell was not a lack of power, but a lack of concealment. They showed too much. They trusted too much. They let others glimpse the man instead of the mask, and the man is always weaker than the mask. Think also of your own life. How many betrayals came not from strangers, but from those to whom you revealed too much? The friend you trusted with your secret, who used it against you. The colleague you confided in, who turned your words into weapons. The lover you exposed your weakness to, who used it to wound you when love turned to hatred. Every time you revealed your true self, you gave someone a blade, and often they chose to use it. Secrecy is not cowardice, it is survival. The less people know of your true mind, the harder it is to trap you. Speak, but leave your true thoughts unsaid. Smile, but let the smile conceal your intentions. Act, but keep the reason for your actions hidden. To be mysterious is to be untouchable. Men fear what they do not understand, and they respect what they cannot predict. A man who is an open book is easily discarded. A man who remains unread is studied, feared, and respected. Even in battle, the principle is the same. A general who reveals his strategy is already defeated. His soldiers may be brave, his weapons sharp, but if the enemy knows where he will strike, the war is lost before it begins. Likewise in politics, in business, in love, in friendship, reveal your hand too early, and your opponent already knows the ending. Keep your intentions hidden, and you hold the advantage. Surprise is a weapon, and secrecy is its sheath, and do not think mystery must always be silence. Sometimes it is created with carefully chosen words. Sometimes it is the appearance of openness that conceals more than silence ever could. A clever man can speak for hours, say everything, and reveal nothing. This too is a mask, the mask of false transparency. It lulls others into thinking they know you, when in truth they are grasping at shadows. They believe they hold your essence in their hands, but they hold only smoke. The temptation to reveal yourself is strong. It comes from the desire for connection, for validation, for the comfort of being understood. But this comfort is costly. Every truth you give away is a piece of yourself you no longer control. And once enough pieces are taken, nothing remains but a hollow shell easy to break. Machiavelli's warning is not to kill your authenticity, but to protect it, to guard it as a treasure locked away, shown only in fragments, never in its entirety. For the whole of you must remain hidden, known only to yourself. If you are to endure in a world where exposure invites ruin, there is a law that governs human relationships, a law as old as kingdoms, as certain as death, betrayal. Machiavelli teaches us that trust is not permanent, loyalty is not eternal, and friendship is not sacred. These things exist only as long as they serve necessity, as long as they align with advantage. And once necessity changes, once opportunity arises, betrayal becomes not only possible, it becomes inevitable. To forget this is to walk blindly into the jaws of destruction. Look closely at history, and you will see this law at work everywhere. The most trusted advisors have turned on their masters when fortune shifted. The closest friends have become conspirators when ambition called. Even blood ties have been severed for the sake of power. Brothers raising the knife against brothers, sons against fathers, fathers against sons. The chronicles of kings are written in the ink of betrayal. And if rulers, with crowns and armies, could not escape this law, what hope does the common man have if he refuses to see it? Understand that betrayal rarely comes from your enemies. Your enemy is open in his hostility. His sword is drawn, his threats are clear. You guard against him because you know he wishes to harm you. No, betrayal comes from those who smile, from those who sit beside you, from those who embrace you as a friend. For only those close to you can wound you deeply. Only those in your confidence know where your defenses are weakest. Only those you trust can strike without warning. The wolf is dangerous, but it is the sheep that lulls you into lowering your guard. Think of your own life. Have you not seen it? The colleague who pretends to support you, but quietly undermines you to rise in your place. The friend who promises loyalty, but whispers your secrets to others when it suits them. The lover who swears devotion, but leaves the moment opportunity knocks elsewhere. It is not hatred that destroys most men. It is misplaced trust. The blade that cuts deepest is not the enemy's. It is the friends, sharpened with intimacy. Machiavelli warns, do not be naive about loyalty. Men are loyal only until loyalty no longer profits them. Their allegiance is tied to their advantage, not to you. Today, your ally may defend you fiercely, but tomorrow, when your strength wanes, he will calculate whether standing beside you still benefits him. If not, he will turn. And he will not hesitate, for he will tell himself necessity justifies his actions. In truth, necessity excuses every betrayal. The wise man does not despair at this truth. He prepares for it. He expects betrayal as one expects the winter. He is never surprised by it, never shocked. He guards himself against it as a fortress guards its gates. He keeps watch even over those closest to him. He does not reveal all his power to one man. He does not place all his trust in one friend. He does not leave his survival in the hands of another. For he knows that the moment fortune shifts, what was once a friend may quickly become an enemy. Consider also the subtlety of betrayal. It does not always come as a sudden strike. Sometimes it creeps slowly, quietly, disguised as neglect, disguised as hesitation, disguised as silence when you need a voice. Betrayal is not only in the dagger. It is in the absence of defense, in the retreat of loyalty, in the failure of support when you stand most vulnerable. In these moments you will see men's true nature, and you will curse yourself if you believe their promises too deeply. So what is to be done? Machiavelli does not tell you to abandon all trust. He tells you to manage it like a weapon, to distribute it carefully, sparingly, never fully, to assume that even loyalty can be bought and sold, and to prepare accordingly. He tells you to hold the upper hand, to ensure that even those who would betray you are restrained by fear or by need. For if fear and necessity bind stronger than friendship, then it is fear and necessity you must cultivate. Men will betray love, but they will hesitate to betray when they know it will cost them their life or their fortune. This is the ruthless law. Betrayal is not an exception. It is a rule. It is not rare, it is constant. To deny it is to live blind. To expect it, to prepare for it, to harness it, this is survival. And only those who accept it can wield power without being consumed by the treachery of others. Machiavelli gives us a final warning, one so heavy, so dangerous, that even he hesitated to put it into words. The warning is this: once you learn how the world truly works, you can never return to innocence. Once the illusions fall, they never rise again. Once you see the machinery of power, the gears behind the curtain, the masks that men wear, the theater of morality and appearances. You are changed forever. And this change is not a comfort, but a burden. The masses live in dreams. They believe kindness is genuine, loyalty eternal, promises unbreakable. They believe leaders act for the people, that friends act from love, that even strangers can be trusted on the basis of virtue. These illusions make life bearable. They soften the cruelty of existence. They keep men obedient, hopeful, distracted. They allow nations to march into war believing they fight for justice, not for the ambitions of rulers. They allow workers to sacrifice their lives believing fairness will reward them. They allow the betrayed to forgive, believing loyalty can still exist. This is the bliss of the ignorant, and it is why rulers are careful never to strip away the illusion entirely. For a world without illusion would descend into chaos. But here you are. You have stepped into a place where innocence cannot follow. You are seeing what few dare to acknowledge, that beneath every mask lies hunger, beneath every promise lies advantage, beneath every bond lies calculation. You are beginning to see that power has no morality except necessity, that loyalty bends to circumstance, that appearances are more enduring than truth. This knowledge is not light, it is weight. It changes how you see every word, every smile, every hand extended in friendship. For behind each one, you now see the possibility of manipulation, the shadow of strategy, the cold hand of self-interest. Imagine walking through life with this sight. The politician speaks of justice, you see ambition. The priest speaks of faith, you see control. The friend swears loyalty, you see the conditions beneath it. The lover whispers devotion. You see the fleeting nature of desire. To the ignorant, these words sound beautiful. To you, now armed with Machiavelli's vision, they sound like weapons disguised as gifts. And once you hear the steel beneath the silk, you cannot unhear it. Once you see the strings, you cannot return to the show. The performance is broken, and you stand apart from those who still cheer and clap, wondering how they cannot see what you see. This is why knowledge is dangerous. It separates you. It isolates you. It turns you into an outsider among those who still live under the spell of illusion. They will call you cold. They will call you cynical. They will call you ruthless. And perhaps they are right. But what they call ruthlessness is only clarity. What they call cynicism is only truth. For Machiavelli reminds us, it is not the world that is cruel, but the illusions that make men weak within it. And so the final warning stands: once you learn this, you will carry it forever. It will sharpen your mind, but it will also weigh upon your heart. You will find yourself questioning everyone, even those closest to you. You will see betrayal before it arrives, manipulation before it unfolds, weakness before it is exposed. And though this sight will protect you, it will also leave you restless. For you will realize that there is no pure loyalty, no eternal mercy, no flawless virtue. There is only necessity, and necessity shifts like the tide. The final danger is not only what this knowledge reveals about others, it is what it reveals about yourself. For once you see how men act, you must also see yourself among them. You too wear masks. You too calculate. You too betray when survival demands it. To know this is to strip away even the illusion of your own innocence. You will see yourself as a player in the same dark game, no better, no worse. And that realization, more than any other, is the heaviest burden of all. And now you understand why I should not have taught you this. You have walked through forbidden knowledge, through the truth that power is built on illusion, that appearances outweigh reality, that morality and mercy are traps, that secrets must be guarded, that betrayal is inevitable, and that once these truths are seen, they can never be unseen. You now carry Machiavelli's warning within you, and it will not let you go. Look around you. Every smile, every promise, every oath, every display of goodness, you will see it differently now. You will question what lies beneath. You will hesitate before placing blind trust. You will remember that power is never innocent, and survival is never merciful. This is the burden of clarity, but it is also the weapon of the few who dare to see the world as it truly is. Most men will live and die in illusions, comforted by lies that keep them obedient. But you no longer have that luxury. You have crossed the threshold. You cannot return to blindness. You cannot return to innocence. The curtain has been pulled back, and the machinery of power stands naked before you. From this moment forward, you either wield this knowledge, or you will be destroyed by those who already do. This is Machiavelli's final warning. The world does not reward the good, it rewards the cunning. And now you must choose which you will be.